Mr. D, the bad guys came to find Tavai. What are your plans to protect her and the safety of Huyen and Maya? Will you take everyone to a new safe place?
When those men came, I saw the fear in Huyen's eyes. I saw the way Maya clung to her mother, and to Vi. She didn't say much, but I could see the weight of guilt and fear crushing her. I won't let that happen again. I don't care who those men are or where they come from. No one has the right to bring fear into this home. From now on, their safety is my responsibility. We may live simply, but we're not weak. I've already started planning a safer home, farther from the roads they can find us on. A place surrounded by trees and light, where Maya can laugh without looking over her shoulder, where Huyen can hang laundry in the sun and feel peace in her heart, and where Tavai can finally breathe without fear chasing her. That bamboo house, it sheltered them when no one else did. For that, I'm grateful. But no, they won't live there forever. I will build them a real home, strong, safe, and filled with love. That's not just a plan. That's a promise I've already made in my heart.
Hello, dear friends. Today, I want to share with you a story that pulses with fear, love, and fierce resilience. It's a tale set in the quiet countryside, where peace is often just a thin veil covering hidden storms. At Huyen's modest home, on a scorching summer afternoon, the stillness is shattered. A group of cold-eyed strangers appears without warning, strangers who bring with them fear, violence, and a darkness that threatens to engulf the little family living there. What happens when Tavai discovers the truth that her own husband is behind this terrifying intrusion? That the man who once vowed to protect her is now hunting her like prey? But before the storm arrives, life unfolds gently. The sun blazes mercilessly above, blanketing the village in heat. D, a quiet man of simple means but unwavering heart, is seated outside, carefully splitting bamboo to repair the walls of their aging home. His thin shirt clings to his back, soaked in sweat, but his hands move steadily, purposefully. Nearby, little Maya sits with her faithful dog BB, her eyes wide with wonder as she flips through the pages of an old book. The scene is almost poetic. D turns to Maya with a soft smile, his voice warm. "Are you teaching BB to read?" he asks teasingly. Maya giggles, nodding solemnly. "He's learning faster than I thought." D chuckles, then wipes the sweat from his brow. "You're doing great, little one. Tomorrow, I'll make you your very own study desk. A beautiful one. Really?" Maya's eyes light up with joy. "Thank you, Uncle D." Just 5 simple words, but they strike D's heart like a melody. They erase the tiredness in his limbs and replace it with something deeper to hope. For a moment, he allows himself to dream. Maybe one day, they can return to the north, to a small house near the hills, where Huyen, Maya, and he could live together in peace. But that's just a silent dream, one he hasn't shared with anyone, not even Maya. He fears burdening her, fears the world may crush that fragile hope. Suddenly, the peace is broken. A sharp bang at the window, then heavy, booted footsteps crash into the yard. D springs to his feet, pulling Maya into his arms. A group of unfamiliar men storms in, their eyes sharp and cruel, their movements full of menace. "Who are you?" D shouts, shielding Maya behind him. "What do you want with my house?" One of the intruders, tall and broad, steps forward, his voice like a blade. "Search everything. She's hiding here to VI. Find her." A wave of dread surges through D. but he stands firm. I don't know anyone named Vi, he says with steely calm. You've come to the wrong place. The men ignore him and begin ransacking the house. Maya clings to Dee tightly, her tiny body trembling with fear. Another voice barks.
Where is she? We know she's here. Tell us. I said I don't know her. Dee's voice grows louder. If you touch anything else, I'll call the police. A man sneers and pulls out a photograph. You sure? Never seen her? Dee glances at the picture, recognizing the VI instantly, but his face gives nothing away. I told you. I don't know this woman.
The men leave, eventually angry, frustrated, and vowing to return. We'll be back. And next time, it won't be so polite. Dee watches them walk away, his jaw clenched, as the gate clangs shut. He finally kneels and hugs Maya close. Are you okay, sweetheart? Maya nods, still shaken. They were bad men, she whispers. Yes, Dee says softly, but I won't let them come near you, ever. From behind the wooden walls, Vi watches everything. Tears stream down her face, but she doesn't make a sound. The guilt swallows her whole. This is my fault, she thinks. I've dragged Dee and Huyen into danger. I need to leave. After the men are gone and the house begins to settle back into silence, Vi steps into the room. She sits in a corner, trying to pretend nothing happened. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything, she whispers to herself. But inside, her soul screams. Meanwhile, Dee stares at the mess they left behind. His eyes are clouded with concern. He mutters under his breath, this place might not be safe anymore. For Huyen, for Maya, I need to warn her. As the sun lowers in the sky, casting an amber hue over the land, Vi approaches Dee. He's still at work, slicing bamboo with patient care. His movements are methodical but slower now. The weight of the day is heavy on his shoulders. Dee, Vi says quietly, take a break, please. He looks up at her, surprised by her tone. She sits beside him, the silence thick between them. Then, with great difficulty, she speaks. I think I need to leave. I can't stay here anymore. I've caused too much trouble. Dee stares at her. What are you talking about? I want to go home, she says, barely above a whisper. Back to my father in Cam village. There are people there who still care. I shouldn't stay here and put you or Huyen in danger. Dee is silent. He doesn't want her to go, but he understands. Maybe you should rest first, he says finally. We'll talk more when Huyen comes back. He doesn't tell her that her husband's men were the ones at the gate, that she's being hunted, that the danger is real and growing. Some truths are too painful to say. Later that evening, Maya runs up to him. Uncle Dee, can we go to the stream? It's too hot. Dee lifts her into his arms. Let's go. Hand in hand, they walk the dusty path to the stream. The sound of water trickling over smooth stones is like a lullaby. Maya laughs and skips ahead, dipping her toes in the cool water. And for a moment, Dee lets go of the worry. Just for a moment, he watches her dance in the water, her laughter echoing in the trees, and feels peace. But then a voice calls out from the distance. Maya, Where are you? It's Huyen, her voice filled with worry. Maya rushes back to D and grabs his hand. Together, they return to the house. When D sees Huyen standing there in the doorway, dust on her dress, worry in her eyes, he feels a sense of home, of wholeness. They are together. That's all that matters now. The road ahead will be hard. Danger may still come, but D knows this much: he will stand by them, protect them, love them always. That night, the air was heavy. Even as the sky darkened and the first stars began to blink through the dusk, no one in the house could sleep easily. Huyen sat by the window, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She had returned home just in time to feel the leftover tension in the air. The scattered chairs, the uneaten lunch, and the way Maya clung to D said everything before words were even exchanged. D, she whispered, turning toward him as he sat quietly in the corner, a towel around his neck, the day's dust still clinging to his shirt. Tell me what happened. He looked at her, his eyes tired but calm. Some men came looking for Tvi. Huyen's face changed. What kind of men? The dangerous kind, he replied softly. They said her name. They had a photo. They turned everything upside down. Tvi stood nearby, her back against the bamboo wall. She looked down, her breath shallow. I'm sorry, she said, voice trembling. I never wanted to bring this into your lives. Huyen rose slowly and walked to her. She placed a hand on Tvi's shoulder, not out of blame, but comfort. We all carry pain, Vi, but you don't have to carry it alone. But I'm endangering Maya. I saw how scared she was. And D, he could have gotten hurt. Because of me. D shook his head. You didn't choose this. You were trying to survive. A silence fell over the room again, broken only by the quiet sound of Maya turning in her sleep nearby, murmuring softly in her dreams. Tvi stepped toward the doorway and looked out into the night. Her voice came out in a whisper, but it was steady now. I think I should leave in the morning. No, D said immediately, rising to his feet. It's not safe. They're still out there. If they couldn't find you here, they'll search again and maybe worse. I can't stay, she said. I can't bear to watch Maya grow up in fear. I need to return to Cam Village. My father is still there. And if something happens to me, at least it won't be here. Huyen's eyes filled with tears. We're your family too, Vi. We'll protect you. I know, Tvi said, forcing a small, grateful smile. That's why I have to go, because I love you all too much to stay. Life lesson. The power of quiet courage and unbreakable bonds. In the quiet corners of life, far from the noise of the world, true courage is often born not from grand gestures or loud words, but from the simple acts of love, protection, and sacrifice.